Hello everyone, I'm Heather Zwain, and I'm here tonight with the woman who changed the meaning of 3 simple words: eat, pray, love. Or perhaps they changed her. Best-selling author, Elizabeth Gilbert. So we're here tonight for Project Literacy of Bergen County. Can you tell me how important it is to you to spread the word about, reading and writing, especially amongst children?
Yeah, I mean, we all want to see kids reading as much as possible. For me, as a child, that was my oasis. It was my heaven to disappear into books. But a lot of what this literacy group is doing is actually working with adults who have literacy problems. And I think that that's a neglected portion of society. A lot of people don't realize what a serious, debilitating problem it is. And they're trying to bring it into the light, which is great.
Now, let's get to your best-selling novel, Eat, Pray, Love. This is a quest that you went on to seek everything. Do you think that you really found everything you were seeking?
Wow. I don't know if any of us get to have everything in one lifetime. I mean, I think as modern Americans, we all aspire to that. I think what I really wanted and what I defined as for everything was to know who I was, and so I don't think I became somebody who was capable of having an adult relationship until I took some time away by myself to sort out who I was, what my interests were, what are my core needs, what can I comfort myself about, what can I do on my own, and then just find a partner to go through life next to, rather than this like crazy reflective mirror that we're always trying to look for, and that seems to be working better for me than the old plans.
So what is marriage to you now?
Well, marriage, historically is this very funny intersection between the romantic and the pragmatic. And I always had the romantic part down. It's just that pragmatism was never really my strong suit. And a lot of what I write about in the book Committed, the follow-up to Eat, Pray, Love, is about sort of learning what the pragmatic basis of marriage is. And I think another reason that marriage is not a sport for young people, that it's not a game that children should be engaging in, and by children I mean people in their early 20s often as well, is that you don't know yourself well enough to know what your core needs are. And once you've identified what your core needs are, the rest of it you can kind of learn to work around. But if those few core needs that you cannot live without are not being met, this relationship is never going to work, no matter how flashy or exciting it may seem.
Do you have a favorite part of your trip? If you could just think back one part over that span of time that you just knew, this is it. This is why I went on this journey.
A couple come to mind. In Italy. I remember being alone on the coastline on a beautiful sunny day, eating an octopus salad, all alone in this gorgeous landscape by a medieval church, and just thinking, I'm here. I brought myself here. I did it. I did it, And then, of course, those months of meditation in India that changed my mind, my heart, and my life. And then the night I met my future husband was, of course, a night to remember as well.
Now, do you believe he's your soulmate and everything happens for a reason, and your journey was to not only find yourself, but to find your soulmate?
Soulmate is a word that gives me hives, I got to tell you. I'm allergic to it because I feel like it's so loaded, and I feel like it's such a fantasy. And I think the best thing that I can say about this man, and the kindest thing I can do for him, is to not ask him to be my soulmate, to ask him to be my husband, which means a flawed and wonderful person who I adore, and who adores me despite my very long list of flaws. The whole soulmate thing, I just think, warps your vision, and it becomes this distortion, and it can also become a weapon that you impale somebody with your incredibly sharpened expectations for what they're supposed to do in your life. And I think one of the most important things I had to do to become an adult was to pare down those expectations, which doesn't mean lower your expectations, ladies. It just means manage them and make sure that they are sane and that they are fair and that they are reasonable to this very good person who you're interacting with.
Now, do you think it's safe to say that you've come full circle? You grew up on a Christmas tree farm in Connecticut, and then you went on all these journeys to Italy and Indonesia and India, to these great faraway places, and now you're back and you're in New Jersey in a very small town, French town. I have been there. It is small. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Than the town I grew up in. I actually, You can't even say full circle. I've reverted. My parents' life was cosmopolitan compared to the life that I have. That's what stable life looks like. I grew up with that kind of lifestyle, and so it just looks like, what a real life is. It's the only place living in a small town in a small community is the only place where I don't feel like I'm a tourist, where I don't feel like I'm just passing through. I mean, I lived in New York for on and off for 12 years and always felt like a visitor. And most of the places I've gone in the world, I feel like a visitor. But there's something about that little town in New Jersey on the Delaware River that just feels like an accurate rendition of a home for me. And I'm lucky enough that my Brazilian sweetheart is willing to leave Brazil and Bali and come and live in central New Jersey with me.
On the Delaware River. You can go tubing.
Yeah, well, he likes it too. He likes it too. But he's very sweet. He always says, "Are you going to be living there?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Then that's where I would like to be." So I've been.
What does the future hold for Elizabeth Gilbert and Felipe? And did you take his last name or on anything personal?
No, I didn't do that. I'm too used to myself. I wouldn't know how to recognize myself with a different name. The future, hopefully, will just be a quiet life in a small town. It's been the ride of a lifetime these last few years, and I think that my predominant job over the last few years has been to remain stable and sane while a lot of craziness has been going on, around this book, this movie, everything that's happened with this. And I feel like we got through it, and we got through it fine, and we got through it with our characters intact, and now we can just sort of quietly say thank you to everyone and then back away.